Good morning everyone and welcome to Superhero Storytime. My name is Alice and I'm the Project Manager for Children and Young People here at Writing on the Wall. And I'm really excited because you guys are getting the first listen to one of our superhero stories. These stories have all been created to be part of our brand new book. And this book is a collection of short stories and poetry, all with diverse characters. We noticed that there's not enough diversity when it comes to ethnicity and disability in children's literature, and especially in the short stories that we're sharing with our schools. So we decided that we were going to make our own. And you guys are getting a sneak peek of one of the stories. This story is written by Nathan Powell. And Nathan Powell is a writer and a playwright. And that means that he writes his words to be read out. And I think you can tell that when you hear this story. This story is all about what it would be like if the world had no music. I know, it's a horrible thought. So maybe after you've listened to the story, you might like to write your own story. And you might like to write a story about what the world would be like without something that you love. So I might write a story about a world with no cake. Or you might write a story about a world with no kittens. I know it doesn't bear thinking about. So before I get myself too upset thinking about a world without cake and kittens, maybe it's time for us to sit back, relax and listen to Nathan's story, Ayizan.
Hi, my name is Nathan Powell and I'm going to be reading for you my short story, Ayizan. Writing on the Wall have created a new book which tells short, diverse superhero stories for children aged 7 to 11 years old. The book has been created as a part of Writing on the Wall's project, Superheroes, Words of Power, in order to address a lack of diversity when it comes to ethnicity and disability in children's literature. So here it is, Ayizan. I hope you enjoy it. This is Liverpool, but not the Liverpool you know. The year is 2220 and the city is still. It's 7:30 p.m. and households across the country are observing the 30 minutes of state-sanctioned silence, as they have every night since the uprising of 2022. The country adopted this practice as a sign of respect to the soldiers that sacrificed their lives to put an end to the noise. The story goes that in 2022, a group of rebels who wanted to destroy our peaceful way of living launched an attack across the country using constant noise as their weapon. The streets were flooded with a continuous thunderous roar that echoed across towns and cities, bursting eardrums along the way. Machines amplified sound to rain terror over cities and towns until the brave soldiers of the state took a stand and put an end to the noise. From then on, people have lived a quiet life to prevent anything like that happening again. Talking is allowed, but only at a whisper, and any unnecessary noise is banned. So here we are, in a small house in the north of Liverpool, in an even smaller bedroom, where a 16-year-old girl named Ivier sits holding a key. Ivier has always felt different to her friends. Living in silence has never felt natural to her. She was born with a rhythm in her heart and a beat in her soul. The rhythm lives in everything she does, in the way she walks, the way she talks, it all has a flow. Ivier lives at home with her mother, Miss Patricia, and her two younger brothers, Tayo and Toby. They don't have much, but they always have 3 meals a day, clean clothes for school, and plenty of books to read. Their house is decorated with pictures painted by Nigerian artists of crowded markets and luscious riversides. The furniture is finished with a beautiful patterned fabric, bursting with greens, reds, and yellows, delicately stitched together to make elaborate designs specific to Lagos, where Ivier's ancestors are from. It's modest, but their house is warm and homely. Miss Patricia has long known Ivier is different too. She reminds her a lot of Ivier's father. They don't speak about him in the house, and all Ivier knows is that he had to go away when she was 3 and won't be back for a long time. Miss Patricia tried her hardest to suppress the rhythm inside of Ivier. Until you understand the power of sound, you must not make sound, she would say. This never sat well with Vivier, and one day when she was 14, she replied, "Well then teach me about it." "You're still too young," said Miss Patricia, lifting her glasses to look clearly in Ivier's eyes. "You always say I'm too young. How old do I have to be to not be too young?" rebutted Ivier, her long beaded braids flashing through the air as she spun to confront her mother. Then, on her 16th birthday, as the clock ticked to 7:30 p.m, Miss Patricia handed her a gift wrapped in silver paper with a blue ribbon tied around it. She knew there was something special inside. Beneath the paper was a wooden box, old and worn but smooth to the touch. There was a strange symbol carved into it, a circle encased by a bigger circle. Inside the box was a key. Ivier knew exactly what it was for. The key opened the door to the basement, a place she was previously forbidden from by her mother. She crept down the creaking stairs, flicking on the light as she passed. The dark space transformed into a room full of dusty circular objects. A machine holding one of these objects span in a corner. A delicate needle floating above it made a crackling noise as it scratched through the grooves of the spinning disc. "These are vinyl records, Ivier. They were your great-great-great-grandmother's, and they symbolize your history, your purpose. What the state has taught you all these years is a lie. They did not save us from noise. They silenced us in order to control us." Miss Patricia told Ivier the story of her great-great-great-grandmother, DJ Ayizan, who played music in protest of the state's devious mission until she was thrown into prison where she spent the rest of her life. Ayizan was the most influential DJ, and all the others became too scared to play music. "And my dad?" stumbled Ivier. "Yes, he is in prison too," Miss Patricia cut in, "for attempting to organize a group of rebels to play music again." Ivier sat with her eyes wide, trying to absorb everything her mother said. "If I could keep you away from this, I would, but I know I can't." Miss Patricia hugged Ivier, feeling the musical power within her daughter beating as it always did, but stronger now. Some way, somehow, Ivier would bring sound back to the people. One night, after months of practice, Ivier, with the help of Tayo and Toby, lugged the DJ equipment to Stanley Park and set up a stage outside the large glass conservatory. They waited until it was time for the 7:30 silence. Then Ivier placed the headphones firmly over her ears, lowered the needle down onto the shining, spinning vinyl, and let the music roar. Boom! The sounds of rebellious music echoed across the park and into the surrounding houses. Then slowly people began to join her, dancing, smiling and laughing, moving all together. It was unlike anything she had seen before. A sea of previously silent people making noise. It didn't take long for the state and their soldiers to arrive, but as they moved towards Ivier, something special happened. The people created a wall of bodies as a barrier, and they backed away. News of DJ Ivier and her music spread across the country, and similar protests began all over. The people would no longer allow themselves to be controlled. Ivier had completed Ayizan's mission, and they would no longer live in silence. Again, thank you.